Welcome to the Neoborn Caveman Show.
I know my place inside this cage.
Welcome. Hello, Sami. How are you doing today? It's been 2 lifetimes and 3 fountain of youth research before we talk. So, what happened to you? I know, but the listeners might not know that you had a world tour. You are very successful in Brazil, and one of your songs, or 2 or 3 or 5 of your songs, are played on radios on repeat. So, how are you enjoying life, and what is happening to you?
What's up, Neoborn? It's good to see you, my friend. What's up, everybody? I'm Sami Chohfi. Well, brother, I live here in Puyallup, close to Seattle, and so I'm always, keeping my heart and soul open to everything the world has to offer. Living in, that Seattle was actually just voted the most beautiful city in the U.S., believe it or not, and being able to travel in the recent 6 months. I did a tour, my very first tour in Costa Rica. That was on April 3rd. I played in Puerto Viejo, beautiful country, Cartago on the 5th, and then San Jose on the 9th. And I'll tell you, the people in Costa Rica are very similar to the people in Brazil, very loving, very open, love rock music, or rock in general. And I am now I just did a Brazil tour before that, and now I'm going back to Brazil for another run. I'm going to be playing in Rio de Janeiro, too, for the first time, which is amazing. That's happening from July 21st to August 5th, and it'll be my first arena show as well. I'm playing an arena concert. I'll be playing on a stage during the sunset. I'm very, very excited for that. And then after that, I am going to go to Mexico for the first time with my band and do 3 shows in Mexico City and surrounding cities like Puebla. And it's going to be pretty amazing. I'm pretty excited. So, I'm also writing a new album and always making cool new music videos. I know I sent you the new music video for Enemy that had my nephew in it. That was a song and a video about the struggles with mental health and overcoming them. And so that's me, just continuing doing what I love and seeing the beautiful world and connecting with the beautiful people like yourself.
Okay, one question remained after this. Do you need a roadie?
If that roadie is you, my brother, I would love to have you.
Absolutely, I would love to go there. I would love. Well, then, of course, a bunch of children, cats, and other things we should pack, and we can go, of course. Really, I mean it. So, once I would love to sing with you on the same stage. So, okay, so I'm happy for you that it's happening, and I understand that being on the road, for some, it is amazing. But in retrospective, they record that maybe it was a little bit less amazing if they count the motors, the less than good quality sandwiches from the snack bars or whatever. So how can we imagine? So where are you at? Are you always staying in 6-star hotels? You have your private jet and all the young ladies around you, but of course, okay, in your case, young man, because you have a wife. So, and serving you or whatever. So how does it look like? Where are you at? And what should people expect from the music scene these days compared to like the 70s craziness?
Wow, that's a loaded question. Well, first off, no, I don't have a private jet. I am an independent, hardworking artist that everything I do, with the openness of trying to just do it authentically, right? So when we go on tour in Brazil, for instance, and we're on the road, we find just hotels that have hot water and air conditioning and and just simplicity. We're very simple, my wife and I. After every concert, I like to come down off the stage and go and take photos with people and meet people just to connect with human beings, because I believe that's the purpose of us here on this planet, is to connect with people. I've always told this to you. My life journey and my life goal is to just touch people artistically and musically, and on top of that, make people feel good for that hour that they're watching me play, make them forget about everything that's happening in their life. But as far as the music scene and, between the 70s and now today, I don't know. I wasn't around in the 70s, 80s. I grew up in the 90s. All I know is that every artist has their own journey. There's no right or wrong answer. A lot of success is in life in general, not only the music industry, is perception. What is your perception of success? What do you believe to be success? Riches and rock star fade, stardom, that is not success to me. Success is living your best life and doing things in truth, beauty, and goodness, as my mother always told me. So I continue to do that, my brother. And yes, as far as, the women and the rock, and I have the love of my life, my wife, Renata, who is from Brazil. I loved her since I was 14 years old. And, even though we weren't together our whole lives, she was the first woman I ever said, I love you too. I write a lot of beautiful love songs for her. Actually, sometimes, in fact, I make her two versions, like Sing You To Me. Sing You To Me has the rock version and the piano cello version. I love her so much that I made her two versions of a love song, and I'm currently writing her another one. And she asked me to do the Take On Me version. I did that for her all over again. We filmed that video in Paris together. I wrote that for her. So my life is full of, music and love, being married to the woman I love. So can't complain.
I love that one is enough if one is the right one for both of you.
That's it.
But it's also interesting that your inner satisfaction is met with your love of life, who also has her inner satisfaction with herself. Because that's the only way you can contribute to each other's life.
That's a fact, my friend. That is a fact.
Okay, so I know it is not only a fashion, not only a trend, but it's a human habit in this fallen world. Some would call this purgatory, but it's not. It's of course hell, because not heaven. So to always tramp on something, always say negative things about things, and okay, so now the AI is taking over and we will lose 4% of the jobs in 2 years, and then we will have the digital ID, and we will have, let's say, whatever, we will have the big brother in our brain with a chip, because the Neuralink is coming, and they are working together above the sovereign America. You know what is happening now. And I guess some of these things are true as an intention, but all is without counting the human mind, soul, and creativity, and basically that we are not here to be slaves but free people. So the question here is, because there is a question, that how much are you afraid? Are you afraid at all? What is about to happen?
I don't have time for fear. These things are, when things are out of your control, why fear? I have me being afraid and being nervous and losing sleep over these things. I can't, I only can control how I react to things. I can't control the ultimate destiny of the human race. I can just do my part to be a good person and contribute to the world in any way I can, in a good, positive way. But, with the AI and the world at war, and, I wish that I had a platform in this world that I could probably help make more of a difference. Like if I had a platform, like a real platform, like Bono from U2, I would travel to countries like the Philippines and Cambodia, and I would put shoes on children's feet because they get a lot of illnesses from having bare feet on the floor. They actually die from infection, believe it or not. from their feet. And I think those are the kinds of things that you can control, right? The good that you do. So I don't have time for fear. I have time for action and, positive thought in that regard. But I'm only one person, Neoborn. That's it. There's not much else I can do outside of that.
Well, one is enough if the one is the right one.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and because this is now airing also on radios, people who have challenges and need help. I think what you just said might be a good guideline towards things, because when we are overwhelmed or underwhelmed, we are out of balance. Our energy level is not the right one. I'm not talking about physical energy, but spiritual energy. Without all the voodoos and all these realms, I would say that if we have a few points in our days, then we can always recalibrate, realign ourselves with the things we really want to see ourselves in the long run. Then I think we can be good. So the question here is, what is your secret? Do you pray at 3 a.m. and then you have a 4 hours long, pumping iron session? Or what is your secret? Do you talk to cats every noon or what?
No, I don't talk to cats. I don't know. I think patience is my secret, right? Just patience. I had to learn patience. Every time in my life that I didn't exercise patience, I suffered. So I think taking one step at a time, dealing with one obstacle at a time, that's my secret to life, is don't try to take on more than you can chew at one moment, because that's how you overwhelm yourself.
I hold on to the past and my regrets. Guilt is charged, there's no turning back. If I could, I would just wish it all away. With an ounce of pain, I yield a ton of rage. Enemy, will you face me? I'll be waiting.
Okay. But I still want some more practical guidance here. For example, I love cooking. I know cooking. I know harvesting. I know all these things. But I'm a person like that. I'm a partially domesticated person. And I love when I can realign myself with cooking or with a good tea.
Okay.
First of all, everybody here, tea is not with a tea bag, not with look for water, okay, not with a kettle water there, so it's not electric or whatever, okay, that's not a tea. In either case, you have to pick the herb or whatever for yourself. It depends on what you want. But okay.
Mentally.
Yeah, of course. But that was partly a joke, so I'm not condemning anybody if they want to die fast. So, and also I understand that sometimes I have to force myself to switch off. I don't know how to do personally. I don't know how to do these bodying things. I don't know how to relax. I don't know. I'm not well trained in hobbies, because whatever I do, I take it seriously. On the other hand, when I play pool or bowling or football or whatever, I do it because of the fun, that I want companionship. I want that kind of human experience of unlimited laughter and so on.
That's great.
In that aspect, I'm not a competitive person. I don't think it is healthy. So that's what I was thinking of more. So you have a special brand of coffee, plug in, because this is your time to plug.
I use Nespresso. and I drink it with coconut. No, I'm sorry, with coconut oat milk. Yeah, vanilla flavored. So I have 2 of those a day. That pumps me up, gets me ready for the day. I do Pilates with my wife every day at 10 o'clock. Let's see, what else do I do? We walk around the park on a sunny day, 3 laps. That keeps us healthy. What else? Travel as often as possible. See the world, connect with people. That's my secret.
I see. That's great. I love the positivity, and whenever I talk to you or think of you, or when we just chat, I love this is the word that comes to my mind first: clearness, clean and clearness. It's not necessarily that you wash your hand or face. It's like a spiritual clearness or cleanness.
Spiritually polished, right?
I don't know.
Zen, super zen.
So anybody who needs somebody in his or her or whatever life to be really, let's say, unjudged or whatever, they need to get in touch with you. I love talking to indies. I love the young ones, the Gen Z and whatever, and also the elder ones who play music just because they play music. They have a story to tell. They are authentic. And I know that you appreciate authenticity also, as you said. But I also feel that they are more often than not, discouraged by all these things happening all around. With 100,000 songs uploaded to Spotify every day. That makes no sense, because you shouldn't be afraid, because that is not your listeners who need background noise instead of intentional music listening. And whatever is happening. So how can you encourage, do you encourage people with their own music or art that, hey, don't despair?
I'll say this. I get depressed when I go on social media and I look at how much garbage and things that are empty get so much attention, love, followers, Spotify listeners, music that's about, some pretty disgusting things. I'm not going to use profanity on your podcast here, but
please don't. But you can say shite because it's a Scottish word.
There's some shite, but I look at this. I on Spotify, for instance, I don't have a lot of monthly listeners. The most I've ever had was 10,000, and
not a bad. It's like top 1%.
That was because I was, working with playlists and things, and then I was on the radio and I was at 5,000, 6,000, and now I have 2,400 monthly listeners, which is very low, but I realize that the quality of the listeners that I have is important because I'm able to play and tour and play shows. When I do shows, they're not empty, So I feel like success online and all that is an illusion. I feel like so much of the music industry or even art and anything having to do with being in the public is such an illusion, and it's all perception. And the moment you realize that you're going to have to just be your true authentic self with 200,000 songs being released a day on YouTube and Spotify and TikTok ruining music, in my opinion. Ruining what music is, For instance, you go on there, you write a beautiful song, you put it on TikTok, but somebody does a video of them lip syncing something that talks about, pussy and ass, right? Excuse my language again. And that goes viral, while the song that's heartfelt and beautiful and melodic, like the Beatles, no one cares. It's the algorithm doesn't feed it. These things can't discourage you. You have to do things in a way that it has meaning and depth for you.
I understand what you are saying, and it's true. It can be very discouraging, but this is what you and I talked even a couple of years ago about is that if you have 500 real fans, you are good. If you have 5,000 real friends, followers, or whatever in your music, then you can immediately go on tour.
Yeah, you can. That's amazing. I hear a lot of stories too in the industry where people are like, oh yeah, we booked this band because they have 100,000 Spotify monthly listeners and they have 1 million followers on TikTok and 100,000 followers on Instagram and all these numbers. But then they go and do a show and 10, 15 people show up.
Yeah, but for example, okay, here's a number what I know from first hand. One of your music video recently got a very nice 7 figures viewership, right? When you were on tour in Brazil. So that means people looked it up. Hey, who is this person? Oh, I love this song. Check it back. See? So you have nice numbers there when you are actually there. I just remember the Oliver Anthony, Chris, who is saying about this, that he never ever expected anyone to turn up on his first live show after 10 years of preparation, but because one of his songs just got big, what he recorded in the forest with his dogs, that was his big song last year, then it was a full stadium. And then he withdrew himself from all these things because he's not interested in this music industry thing to be taken advantage of, and the people, overpriced tickets and so on. And I love this attitude. But yeah. So don't be discouraged. So that's what you are saying.
Don't worry about everything that's happening else, out there. All the songs being released, none of that matters. Just be you, be your true self. I mean, I have so much fun writing music, recording music, playing it live. I've even started doing open mics once in a while, where like you go to an open mic and there's a lot of just everybody at different stages in their journey. People who can barely play and sing, people who are very good and whatnot. And it's always fun to go up there as a seasoned performer, a seasoned songwriter, and watch people's reactions to hearing your songs for the first time. It's fun, and I love it. I realized the other day too, yesterday actually, I was finding myself and not a lot of artists like their own music. Not a lot of artists like their song. I love my music. I literally feel like I'm writing music that I want to listen to.
But that's the whole point. That's
what I'm doing. So I find myself throughout the day, I'm like listening to some songs that I love from, Chris Cornell and the Smashing Pumpkins and the Deftones and Korn. And I'm like, okay. And I'm enjoying all this music. And then listening to Pink Floyd, and I'm like, but I always find my way going back to listening to my stuff. Every day I listen to my song Little One every day just to put myself in a good mood, and I feel like that's what that's what creativity is, right? Is your reason to be happy, right? It's your reason to, it's a way to express yourself. It's a reason to get up in the morning. Like what makes you click? And I got to tell you, Neoborn, as soon as I get off this call, I'm going to record.
I love this, and I will let you go soon. And I can actually agree with you. I had some health issues not long ago, and it lasted longer than I expected. But I wanted to put out something, so I decided to put out classical music. And I wrote modern classical and older ones, with my own things. There are what I love re-listen and puts me in a good, spiritual mood, or it helps me to ease, heal, because the right frequencies are there, or right harmonies are there, and those are out. And interestingly, those are like sleepers, and they are listened in the long run better than, one big spike in the beginning, like the other ones. So I can absolutely agree with you on this. Okay, so before I let you go singing the best of you, well, actually that could be also a song. Or no,
it is actually the Foo Fighters, the best of you.
I know. I just try to make some fun here. Yeah. So what is the big hope for you? I know that you said just you are about to go tour. Will you create a documentary about the barefoot children, like Bono did, to some extent with his platform? Or will you do a comedy sketch show for the autumn while you are in between the things? Well, that's a popular thing these days. So, what is to expect? Don't tell me you are going to have a podcast.
I don't have the patience for a podcast. I will say this. My expectations are that I will continue to do some amazing shows, meet some amazing people. I hope very, very much to come to Europe next year in April, May, and do a tour there. I'm optimistic that that will occur. I've had the pleasure now, Neoborn, of playing in 8 countries. And the one thing that I love is that, for me, I find it just as enjoyable playing for a room of 10 people who are listening to what I'm singing and writing about, entertaining 10 people as I do a stadium, or I should say a festival of 5,000 to 6,000. And that just tells me that I'm doing what I'm meant to do, which is perform and play and sing my songs, and in any way I can, whether with an acoustic in my hand or an electric guitar in my hand, with my band and my hair flinging around. And so my plan is just to continue trying to create those special moments and write some songs that are true to me as an artist. And that's it. If I get lucky, because I think a lot of it's luck, and I get to be a bigger artist name, if I'm, a name with, a platform where I have connections, I will start a foundation called Music to My Feet. Instead of music to my ears, music to my feet. And, which I actually did start an Instagram for it, just so that, I am always motivated to, remember here, music to my feet. It even has this little logo of a Havaiana, which is where I would put on people's feet. And I will eventually, in the end of, hopefully at the point where I'm not touring as much, I will be able to put everything I can into this foundation where I'm helping kids and people in need by bringing them shoes and bringing them Havaianas and bringing them. But, if you're a name, then I could go to someone like Havaianas or, Skechers and be like, hey, I want to make these, shoes for these people, and that's a write-off for them, and it makes me happy. It fills my soul to help these people. And that's a goal I have. Whether or not I actually manage to do that with the intricacies of life and everything that's involved, we'll see. But yeah, Neoborn, that's what I'd like to do. I'd like to continue my path as a musician, as an artist, and hopefully it leads to me helping people.
I love this, and I am truly wishing and hoping and praying that you will have all this success. And we should meet during your tour, because at least 1 or 2 countries we could meet. I mean, I am a digital nomad, so who knows? Next time you pop up in El Salvador, it can be a good thing. Just one thing what I would like to tell you: you deserve to be heard, you deserve to be loved, you deserve to be fought for, and you deserve to be understood. And I'm not the only one who is here for you and with you.
Thank you, brother.
I feel like we are aliens dancing in the rain. When we try to